The motorsports world is where legends are made, the unthinkable happens, and barriers are broken. One man harnesses the power of an industry every week. This is the General Tire Down and Dirty Show, powered by Polaris RZR, with Jim Beaver.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Yeah, Jim Beaver back in the saddle for year number 10. That is right. This is the 10th year the Down and Dirty Radio Show will be on air. Going back to 2011 is when we started. Yes, this is 2021. That means I think it's going to be about December of this year. That's going to mark full 10 years on air. We got lots of plans for year number 10, but I got to tell you, it's got me amped, ramped, ready to rock. The show that has been on air for 10 years is getting bigger and better than ever, and this year we are going to prove it to you. Thank you to our longtime listeners and fans. Everybody's hung tight, hung with us for this entire time. This is going to be one hell of a year, and we're kicking off things in a big way in 2021 with a good friend of mine who just had a massive announcement. Been a few years since he's been on air, but we're going to welcome back Casey Currie to the show. Dakar champion, one of the most accomplished off-road racers of all time. He just announced a massive partnership with Polaris RZR. He's going to be on here. We're going to have him for almost a solid hour in hour number 2, talking about Dakar, talking about his career, talking about the off-road industry, talking about motorsports as a whole, marketing, media, global motorsport. Man, it is going to be one hell of an interview, and it is why you sign up. That is why you listen to this show, is days like today. Not only that, we got my good friend Chris Leone and my media director. He's going to be on here in hour number 1. Chris and I, we're going to dissect the Dakar Rally, everything's going on in the world of motorsports. Man, there is a hell of a lot going on right now. Yes, holiday break happened, but that didn't mean motorsports stopped. Lots of big announcements, lots of news, lots of rumors, lots going down, and we are going to tackle it today right here on the show. If you're a fan of the show, thank you. If you're not following me on social media, hit me up at JimBeaver15, and you can answer questions for the show right there on social media. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever it is. We will try and get those questions answered here in the show. So yes, 2 hours, slam-packed radio, whether you're tuning in on Sports Byline, Sirius XM, the U.S. American Forces Network, Podcast One, downanddirtyshow.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. Thank you guys for tuning in to year number 10. We are just getting started, and this is going to be one hell of a big show today, and we'll be back with more right after this on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
From the 2018 Master Distillers of the Year comes a bold new American whiskey and fistful of bourbon. Their whiskeys have been award-winning for generations. Now they're going all in on bourbon, blending 5 straight whiskeys to create a big balanced bourbon that stands apart from everything else. So grab yourself a fistful of bourbon, a blend of 5 bourbons created with over 100 years of whiskey blending experience. It ain't just a bourbon, it's a damn fistful. Please enjoy responsibly.
When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome to, I guess, our first major segment here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR of 2021. Yes, let's hope this year is a whole hell of a lot better than last year. I don't know how it could get any worse without zombie apocalypse happening, aliens landing, nuclear warfare. I don't know. There's quite a few different ways we could go with this. But let's hope none of that happens, and let's hope we can get back to racing, doing fun stuff in 2021, and doing it with people, actually, not virtually. Not that I don't mind a little iRacing and having some fun virtually, but, yeah, you know what I mean. So, let's get back to some of that. Let's get back to radio. Let's get back to all kinds of fun stuff. And before we jump into the meat of the show, though, you know what? Today's episode is being brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family's jewels. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all of your below-the-waist grooming needs. Yes, I got no shame. Manscaping, I am telling you, it's legit. If you're a guy and, you want to groom down there, a lot of us have had some cuts and scrapes and nicks, and it ain't fun. But Manscaping, they can take care of you. And when I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. It is an amazing kit, and you can check them out. Manscaping, it is where it's at. Go to manscaped.com. Use the code JimBeaver, and that is going to get you 20% off plus free shipping. It's Jim Beaver at manscaped.com. It's going to get you 20% off plus free shipping. And not only do they help below the waist, I mean, they've got some amazing tools for your nose and, aftercare as well. So lots of good stuff. Manscaped.com, code JimBeaver, 20% off and free shipping. All right, so getting into motorsports, big blockbuster news dropping today. And when I say blockbuster, I do mean pun intended. Ken Block announced today parting ways with Ford after, 11 years? Who saw this one coming? Not I, not anyone in the industry. There's a few people on social media going, oh, yeah, I know. You didn't know. Nobody knew. We all thought Block was going to retire with Ford, and who knows? He probably is still going to be pretty damn loyal to the brand. But I'm just saying, man, I did not see that one coming. Not at all. Really kind of mind-blowing, to be honest with you. It's massive. I mean, you look at his World Rally program, his Global Rallycross, his World RX, his stuff at ARX, X Games. I mean, all the Gymkhanas from 3 forward have been with Ford. I mean, Ford and Ken Block, I mean, they've been together like peanut butter and jelly, like salt and pepper. I mean, this is crazy. I think at one point Ken Block was ranked one of the top 5 automotive influencers in the world. And that was a large part because of his relationship with Ford. I mean, he helped build Ford. Ford helped build him. Not that Ford needed built. I mean, they've been around for over 100 years, but you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty damn crazy to hear that Ken Block and Ford are parting ways. I mean, I'm still kind of dumbfounded at it. A lot of people going, oh, he's going to go back to Subaru. Gymkhana was Subaru. Gymkhana, he kind of handed that off to Hoonigan division. Hoonigan, you can do whatever they want. Obviously he's an owner in Hoonigan, but they're separated. So I don't think that was a straw that broke the camel's back whatsoever. But, Ken, you got to realize, Ken, he's a good friend of mine, but he's in his 50s now. Like, he doesn't need to race on the global scale and continue to do it. He's got a family. He's got a wife. He's got kids. They're growing up. His kids are starting to race. Like, maybe he stepped away just because he wants to spend more time at home and not be on the road 40 weekends a year and 40 weeks a year. Spend some more time, killing it with his family and things like that, camping. He's got all his UTVs, stuff like that. Like, this guy is, he founded DC Shoes, Drawers before that, and then DC Shoes, he kind of became DC Shoes. He built a company, sold that off, then became almost kind of by accident one of the biggest automotive influencers in the world. And he's got this major company there, and it's really remarkable what he's built and what he's been able to accomplish and what he's done. And, maybe he just didn't want the demands of such a heavy contract with Ford. And now Ford, yeah, I'm sure they're demanding on him, but I'm sure they pay him a lot of money as well. So maybe it's mutual. Maybe Block said, hey, look, I'm still going to drive your product. I'm going to have a lot of fun. Who knows? Maybe you're going to see me in some kind of crazy exotic car or something like that. But, let's pump the brakes here, And there's times when guys step away from a manufacturer and they come back and things like that. It's really, there's a lot there. And like I said, Kenny's accomplished everything he could ever dream of accomplishing. I think, we definitely could see him back at some point with Ford at some point. But, that leads me to, what are we going to see Ken do this year? Obviously, he's got some crazy cars in his collection. He's got, some amazing race cars. He's got a media empire. What are we going to see Ken Block do this year? What are we going to see him behind the wheel of? I know he's put in his thing like, hey, I'm a free agent now. I can drive whatever I want. Now, a guy like Ken Block being able to drive whatever he wants, man, that's pretty damn interesting. Like I said before, exotic cars, off-road trucks, formula cars, like hot rods, domestics, imports, whatever. Like, Ken can drive anything in the world. Like, throw him behind the wheel of a Ferrari F1 car, throw him behind the wheel of a Bugatti. Like, I'm looking at things like that going, man, this could get interesting for us fans of Ken Block. I definitely think at some point it's time to get Ken back on this show. He helped he's helped this show over the last 10 years, tenfold. And I got to tell you, having him back on the show at some point, that is definitely on my list of things to do this year. That is definitely for certain. So, so that is kind of the biggest news coming out of motorsport, just wow. Like, wow. I did not see that coming this week. Literally, I've got friends close to the situation. Nobody has said anything in regards to this at all, not even like, hinting, nothing, like literally caught off guard. Maybe my head's been in the sand, but wow, just wow, Ken Block, man, we wish him all the best. Massive fan, great friend of mine. And, I'm sure we definitely are going to see Ken Block ramp things up once again. I mean, gosh, what he's accomplished and done for the industry, the race industry, the action motorsports industry, it's just been phenomenal. So Ken Block parting ways with Ford. That's kind of the lead story, in addition to Dakar right now. Obviously, we got Chili Bowl coming up. Supercross, they're back in action as well. Interesting thing about Supercross, they're moving to their online streaming platform called Peacock from NBC Sports. I guess NBC Sports owns Peacock. Never even heard of Peacock until the announcement. So I have to look into what Peacock is. But, yes, I guess Supercross is back. And if you're a streamer and you watch online, you're going to have to go to Peacock. Yeah. So, there's too damn many streaming platforms. Let's just put it that way. You went from, having to have this $200 cable bill, so everybody cut the cord, like, oh, we're just going to do Netflix and Hulu. Have you looked around? Like, I got Netflix, I got Hulu Live, Disney Plus, like, I got all these streaming platforms. My bill's the same as it was with cable. Like, what the hell? Let's just go back to having DirecTV. It's almost easier at this point. Like, I don't know. It's crazy. We got all these apps and everything else. So, yeah, we'll jump into that later on in the show. I'm sure I got a rant built up somewhere to talk about that. Yes, Supercross, if you are a streamer, beware. It is moving platforms for 2021. But we're going to have Chris Leone on the show when we come back after this break. So we'll return here to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. First episode of the year. Yes, this is going to be a big show. We got lots to catch up on, lots to talk about, but my media director and my good friend, Chris Leone, yes, you remember him from, I want to say last couple of years, but it's even deeper than that, Chris, back to GRC days. But yes, you know him, you know the voice. And Chris, welcome to the show, man. We got a lot to talk about today.
Glad to be back, Jim. Here's hoping that 2021 is a little less chaotic than 2020, right?
Yeah. Did you see the meme floating around? I probably ought to send it to you, but it's basically it's the Joker from the movie that just came out, and he's standing on the stairs, and there's the clown from It. And Joker's pointing at something, and it's basically saying this is 2020 showing 2021 around the office. And it's actually quite comedic. I'm like, this is the best meme I've seen so far, I think, in regards to this. So I'm like, let's hope that's no truth, but it was pretty well done.
Oh boy, yeah. Like I said, here's hoping, especially in the motorsports world, so we don't have to change schedules a million times again. I know a couple of series have already had to do it. And let's just hope that we're able to get as smooth and straightforward of a year as we possibly can.
Yeah, and that's actually, IndyCar is the one. I know Long Beach moving to, I believe it's September. St. Pete just got pushed back, and St. Pete is now going to be like a month later, I believe, and it's not going to be the opener for IndyCar. But I kind of feel bad, whereas NASCAR, they run on tracks, that are pre-existing. NHRA, they're going to facilities pre-existing. Off-road, short courses on pre-existing facilities. Off-road, it's out in the desert where it's away from people, right? I really feel bad because, it's an accomplishment what IndyCar did last year, and they're already trying to set things up. But, them running on these road courses, not road courses, but I mean street tracks, that's tough because that takes, multiple weeks of infrastructure to put in to run an event, and obviously you've got people around, spectators around. Like out of everybody in motorsport, IndyCar, I think, has been hit hardest and has had the biggest logistical challenges to make racing happen, Chris.
Oh, no doubt. And I mean, yeah, you can imagine the logistical challenges regardless of any series. But like you said, having to move street events around is probably the biggest endeavor that you could possibly imagine. I mean, you've only got a handful of them in IndyCar, but thus far, yeah, the first two that have had to change their dates have been street courses. I mean, if you have a permanent facility, whether it's an oval or a road course, and you have to move those dates around, yeah, you're going to have to change your staffing. Yeah, you're going to have to, but depending upon where your street course is located, depending upon if you're using an airport, if you're using actual city streets, you're impacting businesses, you're impacting people's commutes. I mean, it is a logistical headache, the likes of which I would hope to never, ever have to deal with. So kudos to everybody who is having to sort that out, from the IndyCar side, from the team side, from the community sides, because God knows the effort that they've got to put in to make that happen.
Yeah, for sure. So I know, obviously, Supercross getting ready to get kicked off in a couple of weeks. Got Chili Bowl. We got, I guess, a legacy race going on. Parker 425. Actually, I'm looking at this, Chris, going, this was you and I going to be talking Dakar Rally today, which is what we are. But I'm like, Chris, we're kind of like maybe 1 week away from 1 to 2 weeks away from starting power rankings, which is kind of a scary thought.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's nice to be busy, right? It's nice to actually be paying attention to this stuff. I mean, we had to spend, months last year where we couldn't do power rankings at all because we had nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
we talked some esports during that. We talked some pro invitational things, but, it wasn't – sometimes it was harder to track down, and obviously within the esports space, we know that things just pop up left, right, and center, and it can be hard to keep track of. It can be hard to judge quality of fields when you've got, so many events going on that aren't necessarily sanctioned by a major real world sanctioning body. It goes all over the place. And, but now, we're getting into an orderly year, kind of like what we had at the beginning of last year. We know Dakar, runs at this time of year. We know Supercross is about to kick off. We know the Parker events. We've got the addition of the Legacy event, which is cool to see as well. Looking forward to seeing how that goes. There's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, the December break, was a nice little bit of time to refresh, but I think I've had enough time kind of laying off the gas. I say that after a week where my hair was basically on fire 24/7, but I was kind of glad to be doing stuff again instead of just laying around in that twilight zone that is the final week of the year between Christmas and New Year's, just sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird holiday for me, just for multiple reasons, but that we're not going to get into. But yeah, I feel like Christmas was almost stolen from people this year in a way. Like I just feel like, with COVID and everything else, and like, I don't know, the holidays didn't seem like the holidays to me. I just felt like we as just, I guess, humans, like we had Christmas stolen this year, if that makes any sense. Like it just, to me, I'm like, I love the holidays. I love Christmas. Hoping 2021 gets back to some semblance of normalcy for many reasons, but one of them being Christmas.
Yeah, no, it'd be nice to have normal holidays again instead of staying 6 feet away from family members to just basically trade off gifts and then say see you later. But it's tough. It's the world that we live in right now. We have to all make the most responsible choices that we can. Some people have really taken that to heart, and others are still trying to figure out how to take that to heart. But the quicker that we all do, the quicker we all get back to normal. And the quicker we're all getting back to big racing events together and, being able to hang out at the bars after the race without having to wear masks and being able to hang out in the pits without having to, keep far away from people. It's what we all want, but, it takes all sorts of discipline just to get to the major levels of motorsports. So, it's going to take discipline here too. So here's hoping that we have a better year and that we have to deal with less of that this year.
Yeah, well, and, I know you and we're going to get to Dakar Rally here in a little bit, but I do want to mention on the esports front, we talked a little bit about esports. eNASCAR's coming up. We're only a few weeks out from the, the iRacing eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series launching, and which is kind of one of the premier series on iRacing. I'd say the premier series, that and Porsche, but it's world championship level. Anyways, we had draft day, Chris, and I know we on the Jim Beaver esports side put out a little video, but very excited with our signings. Very excited for Mr. Kane Cook and Mr. Michael Guest to be joining the roster. A couple of veterans, and I don't know, it's got me pretty excited for our esports program this year, Chris.
Yeah, you got a couple of good ones there, and there's a lot of announcements that still aren't coming out. I mean, free agency in that series is always nuts. We've seen it over the past couple of years. Some of the big signings and some of the dominoes that end up falling. It's right as of us recording this, everything is still pretty wide open. I know that I've been refreshing Justin Malillo's Twitter page repeatedly over the past couple of. Actually, I'm going to do that again right now, and we'll see if we've we've missed anything.
I've had his live document up that he's been posting the signings and stuff like that. And I don't know, there's only a couple of us teams that have announced, and I know there's a lot of teams that have drivers inked. But it sounds like everybody's kind of holding off on their announcements. We were one of the first ones to punch, had a video roll out and everything else. So I was kind of excited with that. So I don't know. I compare eNASCAR free agency to the movie Draft Day with what is it, Kevin Costner? Is that who's in Draft Day? It's a phenomenal movie, but it's literally like that. You know, I know between you, me, Matt, and Brittany. I'm sitting there on calls. I'm pinging you for information. We got Matt developing video. We got Brittany doing contracts. I'm like, holy crap, this is literally, I felt like Kevin Costner for a day. I'm like, this is nuts. If we were all in the same room next year, if COVID allows us to, I swear it would look just like that movie.
You know, I just saw Malillo tweet that we need Steve Kornacki, the MSNBC guy for the election. We need to have him with a big board, the same way that he was doing on Sunday Night Football for a while. That was a nice little integration there on NBC, by the way. It's always fun to have the trackers like that. But yeah, no, there were a lot of announcements that just haven't come out yet and won't probably be out until maybe even the next few weeks. But that free agency is a flurry. Monday the 11th at the end of the night, everybody either needs to be signed or or who knows what happens if you're not. But that's kind of how that goes. So you only have about 5 days to get it done. So I know you were excited to be done with it after day one. So it's going to be a really exciting eNASCAR season. Obviously, there's a ton of stuff going on in the iRacing world this year with World Championships. With I know you've got a couple of guys in the Fake 500 that's running this weekend. On and on. It was such a big year for esports last year, and it'll be another big year, I'm sure, this year. So really excited to see what's coming. And I know you got things up your sleeve that you don't want to say right now. So
we get some,
just prime the pump like that.
Yeah, we got some blockbusters. Let's hoping to get them out this week, but looks like they're going to be pushed back a week or so. But we definitely have some blockbuster announcements coming up our sleeve. And I know we got to take a short commercial break, Chris. And then we'll get into talking some Dakar. But I do want to mention, I mean, eNASCAR, I'm looking at this, and it's kind of a bit humbling. Here we've got this Jim Beaver Esports team. Obviously you've been a massive part of that program, and I feel like you're part owner of the team, whether your name's on it or not. But I'm looking at it going, man, we're up against teams like McLaren, and I'm like, McLaren, it's one of the most iconic brands in the world. And I'm like, they're in eNASCAR, and I'm like, one, it's kind of exciting for me, but two, that is really big for iRacing. I mean, to have teams of that pedigree, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Roush Fenway aligned on the platform, I mean, that's massive, Chris.
Oh, no doubt. To have McLaren Shadow come in, Elliott Sadler, one of only, I think it's about 30-something drivers who have won all 3 national series. Both of those huge names in racing. But then you have Space Station Gaming, XSET Gaming, both of those come in, as proper esports teams. That are jumping in away from MMOs and heading into eNASCAR. I mean, that makes a statement, to have real, proper, globally recognized esports teams like that decide to step in. So, a really strong fleet of new organizations. So it'll be very, very exciting to see the new sponsors that come in, where drivers end up. That's always an exciting season. So looking forward to seeing how all that plays out.
Yep. You and I both, and we're going to talk some Dakar Rally. But before that, we're going to take a short commercial break here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability ability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Chris Leone and I, we're here just catching up. Been a while over the holidays. First episode back. We got... it's going to be a fun show today, but the first show of the year is always kind of a bit of a catch-up show. But, yeah, Chris, I guess we should talk because we do have one major motorsport going on currently. I know, obviously, we got Legacy, Parker 425, Chili Bowl, 24 Hours of Daytona, Supercross. We got a lot of stuff coming up here very, very soon. But right now, the biggest, baddest off-road race in the entire world is going on. We got a ton of Americans competing in it. I know you have been watching a little bit closer than I have. I've been watching a lot of my Polaris teammates do battle over there, Chris, but we got the Dakar Rally going on, man.
Yeah, and man, it's my favorite event to follow every year, Jim. I mean, you know, the drivers that come out for it, obviously you have names like Carlos Sainz in the car class, you know, and now you've got Sebastian Loeb is back in that class. But you've got big names, especially American big names in the motorcycle class, Ricky Brabeck defending his title, Skylar Howe's briefly leading as a privateer. But then you've got the SSVs, as they call them over there, the lightweight vehicles, and they've split classes on that. You've got Seth Quintero just dominating T3, and you've got Austin Jones looking to pick up where Casey Currie left off in T4, you know, and for the overall win in the lightweight vehicles. It's just such an interesting mix, you know, seeing some of the different drivers that you have show up every year. Matthias Ekstrom is running it this year. Wayne and Kristen Matlock are running it this year. I mean, Chris Meek, the former WRC driver, is running it this year. It's one of those events where you just take all these big names from motorsport and you just kind of throw them together in a blender of some of the most talented drivers across any racing discipline, and you send them out in the desert for 2 weeks and you see if they can find their way back. And, to me, that's the Dakar in a nutshell, and it's one of my favorite events for that reason.
Yeah, and I think, talking with Casey Currie, and we're going to get to that interview on the show later on, and I'll do a little teaser, but he talks a lot about Dakar. Obviously, he's not there, and a lot of it is, personal reasons, things like that, family, COVID, things like that, and he just wanted to take a year off. I get it. But Chris, I mean, the preparation that goes into running a Dakar, I mean, there's nothing like it. Even you talk about the Indy 500, and I would say that's probably one of the biggest time commitments. That and the Baja 1000 probably in North America, but Indy 500 is a month long. You know what I mean? And it's, you got, the GP, but as soon as GP's over, you've got, setups for qualifying and things like that. And qualifying weekend, it's multi-weekend thing, but even that pales into comparison of what goes into the Dakar Rally. I mean, it's months and months and almost a year of preparation beforehand. And then you get over there, and I mean, it's 14 races back to back. I mean, and these aren't short. We're talking sometimes 500-600 kilometer stages. That would be the equivalent of running 14 straight 300-mile Indy 500s. You know what I mean? It's crazy what goes into that race to even get to the finish line, more or less win.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you're putting in all sorts of work to make sure that those vehicles survive, and irony of all ironies often comes where drivers or riders, they'll put in all this work, they'll put in thousands of miles, thousands of kilometers in their vehicles, and then they'll get out after a few stages and the whole thing just goes kaput, But you've got people training in other navigation rallies, other rally raids. You've got people trying to head out in the dunes and simulate the type of conditions they're going to be in, all sorts of other times of the year and all sorts of other locations around the world. There's nothing that compares to it. There really isn't. Like you said, I mean, yeah, obviously you're running back to back to back to back to back, and we're recording this on Friday just as stage 6 wrapped up. So the drivers and riders actually are on a rest day right now, and so they're going to finally get to recuperate a little bit for the journey back to finish off the event next week. But yeah, it's a commitment that you have to be incredibly single-minded you have to be incredibly resolute. It's the words almost don't exist in the English language for what you need, what properties you need to possess to be able to excel at an event like that. And some of them probably go down the profane route as synonyms for crazy, but but that's why we have events like this. They are the ultimate test of humans and the ultimate test of racing machines.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of go down the list. I mean, I'm looking at some of the American results through stage 5. I know you've got more of the overall results. I do want to chime in on a few things. I guess let's key in on the UTV division first, Chris, because obviously we've got a lot of good friends of the show, past guests on here. Kristen Matlock. She ended up having a problem off of a dune a couple stages back. She was actually doing very, very well. Ended up, I guess, smashing the front of her Polaris. Ended up having to get that thing towed into service. Basically, she's a DNF. They're allowing her to finish the rally in what they call the experience class, where it's basically you're just going clicking off miles and learning for the next year. So Kristen's still continuing to plug along. Her husband, Wayne, is currently sitting 19th overall. So he's had some troubles. He's about 4 hours back, but he's still in it. American AJ Jones, he's currently sitting 3rd overall, and we're talking SSV UTV. Then looking at the lightweight UTVs, you mentioned Seth Quintero, just lighting the world on fire. Mitch Guthrie's had some problems. He's sitting 10th overall in class. I mean, talk us through some of the storylines in UTV so far, Chris.
Yeah, Jim, and actually we are starting to get some of the stage 6 results rolling in as we're recording, and I do need to start with Seth Quintero, because Seth Quintero is the UTV driver who is making history at this event. He already made history in one of the first stages of the event when he won the T3 class, became the youngest class winner ever, but stage 6 actually just he is now just becoming the youngest overall class stage winner ever because he topped both of the UTV classes. He topped both T3 lightweight prototype and T4 SSV on that stage 6 going into the rest day. So that is some incredible momentum. And as a matter of fact, it looks like Chaleco Lopez had some trouble. So Seth is now 3rd overall, and Austin Jones is now 2nd overall. So between the two lightweight vehicle divisions, we have an American who might be winning one of them, and we got 2 Americans on the overall podium, which says a lot about what America is doing for UTVs, around the world, and I think is frankly a fair reflection of what's been developed over here and the talent that's been developed over here as well. So yeah, Seth Quintero has really been kind of the shining star with Austin Jones right up there with him. Mitch Guthrie had some struggles on the very first stage, and that's why he's been behind. He's kept pace ever since. He has been right up there ever since, but he very much started the event on the back foot, and so he's been struggling because of that. As you mentioned, Kristen Matlock had the issue, I believe, on stage 2, which was unfortunate, but has been reasonably competitive in the stage time since then. Again, as you mentioned, just part of the experience class, so won't be registered as an overall finisher, but, for all intents and purposes is continuing to keep the pace that she had. Wayne Matlock is still eligible for the overall because he hasn't had a stage DNF yet, and right there solidly in the middle of the pack, among the top 10 of the rookies, certainly, so it's been really exciting what we've seen, particularly from the American racers in the 2 lightweight vehicle classes. Again, you have Chaleco Lopez, who has been very strong throughout and just seems to have had some issues today. Aaron Donzala from Poland, another one who has been very competitive. You've had a couple of drivers, Saleh Al Saif from Saudi Arabia, who has excelled a little bit. Khalifa Alatia, who is Nasser Alatia's, I believe, younger brother, Qatari, who has also done very well with some of the stages and run up front and has really been coming on strong. So a lot of big names and a lot of names that, you might primarily identify with Dakar, but I think would be fun to see them come over and run the Mint or run the Baja. Some of them have done it before and have done very well. So it'll be exciting to see if that ends up happening, especially if we do have multiple Americans on the UTV podiums.
Yeah. So all that being said, Chris, I know obviously kind of gave us the rundown. I do want to chime in too. One of the Americans doing really, really well early on was Andrew Short. This is a little bit of a political issue, I think, but he's out of the rally due to contaminated fuel. Having a great run with factory Yamaha program. I guess pulled into the midway pit at some point, and they fueled him up. I guess the organization handles all the fuel and things like that. Took fuel on, went 4 kilometers, engine shut off. Sounded like it was basically contaminated fuel. It was mixed water and gas, and basically the engine wouldn't run. A lot of people called for the stage to be scrapped. There was a few others that got it mixed in, not as bad as him. They were able to continue on, but his engine was done. They had to withdraw from the rally due to that. No fault of their own. A lot of people are thinking that if that would have been a different nationality rider, Skage would have been scrapped. He would have been able to continue on. But because he was an American, they're basically saying that, he basically was just told, sorry, no fault of ours. See you later. Bye. And I go back to the Robbie Gordon years, and I know the ASO doesn't always play favorites with the Americans. I don't know. What's your take on this whole thing, Chris?
Well, I'll say this. Every year at the Dakar, we get stories that you couldn't make up if you tried. Stage 5 in the bike's another great example of that. Kevin Benavidez wins the stage and takes the overall lead on the same day that he breaks his nose. When it comes to the Dakar, expect the unexpected, but you're never going to be able to predict it. It's obviously any time that you're an organizer and obviously, I think I've spent more time on the organizational side of things in motorsport from an event standpoint than a team standpoint. You end up dealing with feedback that's not great, and you end up sometimes having to own decisions that you regret and decisions that weren't right. I mean, anytime that you have a competitive racer like Andrew Short, who has to withdraw from the rally through something that's no fault of his own, through something that was the responsibility, whether you want to call it fault or not, of the organizers, that is a difficult situation. Andrew Short is far from the only racer who I think has had disagreements of opinion maybe with the ASO this year. Sebastian Loeb has maybe been just a bit more vocal about some of the disagreements that he had, about some navigation issues and some penalties assigned to him. It's a part of the event. It's a part of the event that always stinks and that is always difficult to try and mitigate. And you hate to admit when somebody makes the wrong decision. But yeah, if you have multiple racers that are getting contaminated fuel and you have, multiple people being affected by it, I think Andrew Short may have been the only withdrawal. But nonetheless, yeah, you do have to make the consideration, I think, to adjust the timing of the stage. We saw issues with GPS on stage 5. Carlos Sainz compared it more to a gymkhana than a rally raid because a lot of people were getting lost. Stage 6, as a result, was actually shortened by about 100 kilometers. So it is the kind of thing that organizers can do and will do. So, unfortunately now you do have people wondering, okay, well, why did you make a change today and you didn't do anything a few years ago? You can't be a moving target on all days. You can't change the rules of, in the playing field on all days because at that point everybody loses complete faith in the event. But yeah, certainly something that I hope was very strongly considered before they decided not to do it rather than just kind of brushed off. And while I haven't really heard any reasoning myself as to why they chose not to scrap the stage from that point, I would hope that it's out there and I just haven't seen it, and I would hope that there is a very good and very strong reason behind it.
All right, Chris, we'll see you next time, and we're going to take a short commercial break. Be back more after this on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
From the 2018 Master Distillers of the Year comes a bold new American whiskey and fistful of bourbon. Their whiskeys have been award-winning for generations. Now they're going all in on bourbon, blending 5 straight whiskeys to create a big balanced bourbon that stands apart from everything else. So grab yourself a fistful of bourbon, a blend of 5 bourbons created with over 100 years of whiskey blending experience. It ain't just a bourbon, it's a damn fistful. Please enjoy responsibly.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Well, hour number 1 is done here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. But hour number 2 is coming up after the break, and man, do we have a slam-packed hour, all killer, no filler, coming at you. My good friend, Polaris RZR teammate, all-around badass, one of the most accomplished off-road racers of the last decade, Mr. Casey Currie, is going to be on the show. And Casey is, I don't know, he's going to be talking a little bit about everything, but we got a whole hour dedicated to Mr. Casey Currie. So, yes, hang tight. It is going to be one hell of a fun show. You got any questions for me or any of our guests, hit me up at Jim Beaver 15 on social media, that little social media machine. And, yes, we would love to get those questions into the show this week. So, yes, thank you guys. And, yeah, it's, man, Casey Currie. He is coming up. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And, yeah, that's hour number one. We are 1 hour in the books in 2021. That means, what do we have, about 99 hours of radio yet this year to come. But who's counting, right? Yeah, I know I'm getting all kinds of news. As we're live, I'm getting text messages on Ken Block, King of the Hammers. We got a lot to talk about if I can fit it in this next hour. That is a TBD, to be determined. I don't know. We got a lot to cram in here, especially this massive Casey Currie interview. But those of you who are wanting to try out racing, head over to iRacing and use the coupon code PR-JimBeaver. That is going to get you 50% off at iRacing.com. You're looking to have a lot of fun sim racing? Man, iRacing is where it's at. PR-JimBeaver. With that, we'll see you in hour number 2 right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome to hour number 2 of the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. We got a big interview with my good friend Casey Currie and Polaris RZR teammate coming up. Obviously Chris Leone and I chimed in on our Dirtfish Rally Report last hour. Don't forget, head over to Dirtfish Rally School for more info on the Dakar Rally. And if you want 15% off of Dirtfish, I guess it's Jim Beaver 15 will get you 15% off. But, the Down and Dirty Radio Show is brought to you by Manscaped, who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped, trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs. And you know what? We do have a lot of UK listeners, and Manscaped just launched in the UK. We've gone years without using the right tools for the job. You can be one of the first men in England to experience their life-changing products. Yes, all of our friends over there in Europe, check them out. You've got, they're the best damn below-the-waist trimming tools you can ever find. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code JimBeaver at manscaped.com. Code JimBeaver, manscaped.com. Yes, take care of yourself below the waist. Trust me, Manscaped, man, their stuff is on point, absolutely on point. So, big thanks to Manscaped for stepping up into the show, man. We got a lot of partners. I mean, That was the holidays. Fistful of Bourbon. Our friends at Fistful of Bourbon, they sent me a nice little care package. I got to tell you, they got some damn fine whiskey, and I was able to get my drink on over the holidays with that. So, yeah, we got a lot of awesome partners in the show this year. Kind of stoked on that. It's been a hell of a lot of fun. But, yeah, we got what do we got race-wise coming up here very, very soon. We got Legacy Racing this weekend. We got Parker 425, Supercross, Chili Bowl. Man, we got a lot to talk about in the coming weeks, and it is our 10th anniversary. So I'm gonna challenge you listeners. 10th anniversary of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. We've had a ton of guests over the last 10 years. I want to know who you want to hear on the show this year. That's right. Hit me up at JimBeaver15. Let me know who you want to hear on this year's show. I would love to hear from you guys and find out who you think you need to hear on the show this year, because I'm looking out of the box and I want to interview somebody new. So hit me up at JimBeaver15. And with that, we are going to take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more after this on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
From the 2018 Master Distillers of the Year comes a bold new American whiskey and fistful of bourbon. Their whiskeys have been award-winning for generations. Now they're going all in on bourbon, blending 5 straight whiskeys to create a big balanced bourbon that stands apart from everything else. So grab yourself a fistful of bourbon, a blend of 5 bourbons created with over 100 years of whiskey blending experience. It ain't just a bourbon, it's a damn fistful. Please enjoy responsibly.
Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I would like to welcome the man of the week, my new Polaris RZR teammate, Mr. Casey Currie. Casey, welcome to the show, buddy.
Dude, thank you so much for having me on.
It's been a while. I'm trying to think back, dude. We've had you on a few times over the years. I know once was after you won the World Championship at Crandon. I think we've had you on air since then at one point, but it's been a while, and I got to tell you, you've had a lot happen the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a crazy run. I'm with the decisions that the decisions we've done over the years with switching up the racing and going and trying different things and going and doing rally. It's been a wild adventure to say the least.
Yeah. Well, and I guess I want to talk about this Polaris RZR thing. We'll get to that in a minute, but I feel like there's so much gap between, in your career, at least on this show and things like that. Because I want to talk, like, you've been one of the few, and I know there's a few in the industry that consistently they evolve and they change things up. And I feel like you've always kind of been one where you're always looking, what's next? What's going to be the next big thing? Where can I go to improve my program, to help my sponsors? Let's deliver value. Let's go places where nobody else has been and try and create a stir over there. And I feel like you've been pretty successful with that, man.
I think it's, obviously with risk comes reward, and but at the same time, vice versa, right? Sometimes you take the risk and there's no reward at all, and you're 10 steps backwards. And I feel like that's kind of how my racing career have kind of gone. I don't want to do the same thing. I don't want to race the same races, and we're all reaching for the same pot. And for me, it's about looking for a blue ocean rather than trying to fight that red ocean of going after the same money, pitching the same concept to everybody else.
Yeah. Well, and, let's kind of go back too, because, you'd mentioned that. I mean, you had a highly successful short course program. I know you won, the world championship there at Crandon. I mean, you were at the top of the game when it came to short course, and a lot of people, would have gone from Pro Light up to, say, a Pro 2, something along the lines. And, at one point, you just kind of pumped the brakes on the whole short course thing. And obviously, in retrospect, you're probably the smartest guy in the whole industry at this point. But, you pumped the brakes on that and completely shifted gears. I mean, let's go back a few years to when that happened, because here you are at your top of your game and you just pumped the brakes on that completely. I mean, what was it that you saw that you were like, hey, we need to shift gears, we need to go someplace else? Because, you foresaw something that not a lot of other people did.
Yeah, my biggest thing was we won a championship. I won a couple world championships. We won a lot of races, and we were very blessed to have the partners who were. And, for me, when I started seeing the way that the series and the sanctioning bodies were ran, I truly wasn't a fan of what we saw. And, for me, now I look at it, it was the biggest blessing ever that, instead of sitting there and talking crap and wanting to be negative Nancy, I just made the decision to go and take that opportunity and try something new. So, when it came time, there was a couple partners that I had that I remember crystal clear going, like, talking to some sponsors going, these are the decisions I want to make, and if you don't like it, I'm going somewhere else. And literally they were telling me, oh, it's going to be the end of your career. And now, it's basically been 5 years since I made that decision that, now some of those partners are asking me for me back, and, oh, we want to work with you again. It's going like, man, it's crazy how 5 years ago I was the biggest idiot in the world, and the decisions I'm going to make are going to put me in the gutter and take me out of racing. And, I feel that really with everything going on in the world that, short course is gone now. I mean, or it's not gone, but it's not in a good position for new sponsors, and hopefully they get that resolved. But right now it's just not the best situation to be in for a racer. And, I felt that going into doing off-road stuff and trying to race and conquer the Baja 1000 and the Mint 400, really my thing was that woke me up when I wanted to go do some rally, and I started dabbling in rally around the world, was when you start traveling anywhere outside the United States, there's no one that knows what short course even is. There's no one that knows what these smaller events are. And you start realizing that when you start traveling, and all of a sudden you're like, man, I need to go out and try to conquer events that people in the world can recognize. The Baja 1000 is one of those events. When you start going around the world, that's where people are like, oh, wow, we know what the Baja 1000 is. That's a big race. And that's when I was like, okay, we need to do that. But it's like, I want to do Dakar. I want to go figure. No one's won it. I know nothing about it. And, linked up with a team and took the opportunity to learn, and, obviously got successful at it quick. We won a bunch of world rallies. I won rallies in like 7 different countries. And, then when we went to Dakar, things worked out where we were able to get the victory there. And, that's where I realized that to be successful in off-road, you got to be obviously at the top of your game, but you got to try to live differently than everybody else. So, at the same time, all that's going on, I have 3 full-time guys that work for me just doing media and content. So we're trying to push out all that we can to show the lifestyle that we live.
Yeah, well, and talking about that, let's go back to the short course transition, because I feel like it was kind of a bit of a homecoming of sorts to you, because you kind of, at that point in time, Jeep became back into the picture. I mean, obviously people think of, Rocks Jeeps, your family's last name. I mean, it's kind of iconic in that industry. Did you feel like, moving from short course to some of the desert and the Jeep type stuff, I mean, that was a little bit of a coming home for you?
Absolutely. The funny thing about that was it really where it all came down to was I was with Factory Nissan for the first 5 years of my short course career. So when Nissan pulled out, I was like, man, I'm not going to run a Nissan body if they're not sponsoring me. So I was like, talking to my dad, I was like, well, shoot, I mean, I still have all the good sponsors, but I'm like, I'm going to build a Jeep body on this thing, and I'm going to put a Jeep body in my short course truck, and I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to go after, the market of what the family business is all about. And from that moment is when it opened the eyes that, man, there's a niche out there that, I need to captivate on and really focus on that no one else has. And that's when it begun. Like, as soon as I put that Jeep body on my short course truck, all of a sudden I had new partners wanting to reach out. I had new opportunities that I've never seen before. And like, the ball just took off in a way that I was like, man, I want to ride this and enjoy it, because really it comes back to what I love. It comes back to my family, my roots. And at the same time, I wasn't getting any sponsorship really from my dad at that time. But if, obviously as a family man, anything I can do to help my family out, that's what I was all about.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and how has that been? Because now you've become, to me, you think Jeeps, you think off-road, you think Casey Currie, and obviously, at that point in time you were with Jeep, and then all of a sudden the UTVs came into play, and you've been, a huge, focal point of the UTVs to the point you just, you went to the Dakar rally and won in a UTV. But, kind of take us that transition, because, at this time you're moving into Jeeps, and I know it was about 2016, 17, I kind of made the transition into UTV type stuff. And you kind of added that to your quiver, kind of in that same point. You started kind of dabbling in that. What did you see on the UTV side that was like, hey, I need to have my hand in this cookie jar too?
The biggest thing with the UTV market for myself was, when I say King of the Hammers, I truly love the transit. I love the challenge of the King of the Hammers. I've had terrible luck there, but really love the King of the Hammers. And, when every year, it's kind of the only race I've actually really raced besides UTV World Championships that I just love. And went out there and just absolutely had a blast at the Hammers. I was actually driving a Kawasaki Teryx before. I don't even think at first there was only a Polaris 800 out there and a Yamaha Rhino. So we went out and I just loved it. And from there, what you can do in a UTV, it's unbelievable. And for the cost, it's significantly less than a Jeep, and you're going to get way more speed, and you're going to get way more capabilities out of a stock unit. And now, looking at 2021 and even driving the new RZR that I'm in now, it's phenomenal what you can get for the buck. And for me, that transition from, look, if I'm going to go do extreme rock crawling in Jeeps, well, shoot, I want to do the same thing in my UTVs. And, for me, I took that niche of, once again, I've never raced anything. You can look at my deal. Besides racing rally, I've never raced UTV. I have no interest in racing Best in Desert Score. There's no interest in that for me. And for me, it's just about enjoying it and literally having fun with my family and going out and ripping RZRs around and having a blast.
And we've got a whole hell of a lot more with Casey Currie, but we've got to take a short commercial break, and we'll rejoin this interview right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
So, obviously you talked about kind of looking at things globally and things like that kind of blip the radar. And obviously you see Dakar Rally. We all in the off-road industry see Dakar. There's nobody in this industry that would turn down a ride in the Dakar Rally. But I look at that and I know the expenses to go over there. I've talked with guys that have done it. We've seen a ton of Americans go over there, and nobody's been successful. I mean, Mark Miller arguably, had a great run over there. I mean, Robbie Gordon's had moments. I mean, we've had guys like Ryan RZR, who I respect the hell out of, gone over there and didn't have success. Menzies, BJ Baldwin. We go down the list. You know what I mean? And there's been some big names do it. Your approach, how did you approach this? Because you did it differently. One. Two, you found the funding to go there, which I got to give you props for. But three, I mean, you're the first guy, you and Ricky, to be successful over there.
The biggest thing for myself was, obviously the first year I went, I did have a bad co-driver, or not a bad co-driver, just we didn't mesh. And I learned the importance of that. And really where I learned the importance of having a co-driver that meshed was, having the right trainer. Like Ricky Brabeck became a friend through just riding at the races. And then from there, at home, we started riding together, and him letting me train with him and Jimmy Lewis, it really elevated what we were doing. We took and concentrated on exactly how we were going to do this and approach it. And I have a way of going and doing things my way. And one of the things that I felt that gave me the competitive edge is that I took a lot of time in development with the shock side of it on the Fox side. And, Fox came out and did a bunch of testing with me here in the States. We did a lot of spring changes. We did a lot of valving, and we really focused on making the car work good in all conditions. And to me, I feel that's where some people miss. And I know that Minzy's frustrations was that he wasn't allowed to do that with his program. And we all know that Robbie's program kind of gets thrown together last minute. And I felt that, I took everything that I learned from everybody and took that upon myself, and felt that I focused where I needed to kind of get the car to be right before we went. And it showed. I felt that last year, I felt that in gnarly conditions, the car just worked very well. My co-driver got me through some pretty crappy situations. And, when it came down to going fast or going slow, we were able to communicate together and really address the situation in front of us to get us to the front.
Yeah. Well, and I know me as somebody that watches at home and kind of, obviously I follow you on social media. We've known each other for years, but I'm watching, and kind of last year, kind of the thing that blipped my radar and went, wow, Casey's just not an American going to Dakar. Casey's an American going to Dakar to win was when you went to, September, October, they had the rally in Morocco. And you went over there and you ran that. And I was like, I know a lot of Americans who've gone to the Dakar Rally. Not a lot of Americans have invested enough to go and actually do that as a tune-up. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is the real deal. This isn't like a splash, we're going to do some social media, Casey goes to Dakar. Yeah, this is like, no, Casey's going to Dakar to win. To me, you don't make that massive investment to go to Morocco if you're not planning on absolutely destroying the field at Dakar.
Yeah, so the actual thing is funny about that is last year we went to Morocco, we went to Abu Dhabi, we went down to mainland Mexico. We did 4 other rallies last year on top of that. They're just, once again, because they're kind of out of the limelight, it's just not things that they really get hyped up on. And but you're totally right. Doing that, believe me, the stories around what it takes to go compete in a rally is pretty unbelievable. We flew over, it's like a 9-hour flight to get to Morocco. It's a 12-hour car ride to get down to where the bivouac is stationed. And it's truly the most non-pleasant thing you'll ever do. Like, there's not a lot of enjoyment of, like, you're not driving 3 hours down to Ensenada and eating tacos. Like, we were literally 9-hour car ride, 9-hour plane ride, 12-hour car ride, get down there, do testing, scrutineering, the bivouac, yada, yada, yada. And then you race for 5 days, drive 12 hours back, then a 9-hour flight to get home. So to go do these type of rallies is like, it's serious. And that's why I feel that a lot of Americans, everybody wants to do it, but man, when you start looking at it, analyzing what it's going to take, it's like, dude, it is a tremendous amount of work. And on top of that, like financially, yes, to go do Dakar is like, for me, it's literally my racing budget here in the States for what it takes to run 2 years in the United States just to race a 10-day rally in Dakar.
Yeah, that's crazy, and and obviously, like you said, you've got an entire media crew, you've got everything backing you. You've approached it the right way, so you can actually. I tell people all the time, it's about guaranteeing ROI up front, regardless of how you finish. Now, obviously, you're kind of like the golden goose, where you have the ROI guaranteed with the media you're going to produce, but you're actually going out and winning too. So it's like it's a double whammy there, Yeah, no, I always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So, in preparations of we're going to have the worst race ever, I want to be prepared in a way that, obviously that we're not just going to go home and completely ghost the event, and that we're going to have a story to tell and create a video and all the Instagram to go with it. So, I mean, yeah, we absolutely have a strategic plan, whether it goes bad or good, to attack it. So it's just, obviously the car worked out in my favor, and which actually is funny because it makes the videos way worse because it's a very, very stressful chess game of going, that no one knows about, that you're playing this game of how fast you're going to go depending on where you finish. And then, then you got to play who starts behind you, who starts ahead of you, time splits, fuel stops, keeping splits at time stops because there's no race radios are in the car. So there's like, all that's going on. So you're like, dude, and also they want to do an interview and you're like, dude, I don't even want to talk. I'm like, you got all this stuff going on inside your head trying to go and win this chess game of a race because that race blows. I mean, I've won the Baja 1000 3 times, and I'd rather race the 500 4 days in a row or 4 Baja 1000s in a row than go do Dakar. And it's truly a unique situation to be in with that much pressure. So you guys are down there, at Dakar, and and everything's going on. At what point do you go? And obviously this is a 2-week-long rally, but at what point do you see things and go, man, we got a real shot at this? And does that put some added pressure on you because you enter, you want to win, and then the thing starts unfolding, and you're going, oh man, like we got a real shot here, and that's got to put just an extra level of pressure on your shoulders, man. I say this every time we've been in this situation. Like you know how to race, and like this, the only way I can do to any American is go, it's the Baja 500. You're at race mile 400. You have a 20-minute lead. Everybody else is running, but you have 20 minutes on second place, and literally they're going to freeze your time, but they want you to pull your helmet off, and they're going to do a 25-minute interview with you. So how do you put that emotion? If they did that to you, everybody, your anxiety would go through the roof because they're going to sit there and ask you, what are you going to do after you finish or after you win? Are you excited to go home after you win? When you win, what are you going to do? Right. And it's like, could you imagine? The only thing I could think that'd be similar is like them stopping you at the Baja 500 and literally saying and asking you questions with your helmet off, and you need to be cool, calm, and relaxed. And it's like, it's hard to do. It's like, yeah, it's like 9th inning of the World Series, and the pitcher's getting ready to go out there and asking him, what are you going to do after you win, or something, or throw a no-hitter or something like that. Yeah, it's just a total it throws your mind in a tailspin, I'm assuming. Oh, yeah, because like as soon as we done on the last day, we had a 45-minute lead, which is a very comfortable lead. But, I mean, man, one accident in 45 minutes is gone. Yeah. And so it's, and that's the thing. Everybody and their mom is, they're, you have the way the car works is so different than any other form of racing because, you can go to the press conference and at a score race or best in desert race and do the little deal there. At Dakar, when you finish the stage and you're not even to the bivouac yet, you've already been interviewed like 6 or 8 times.
and then you get to the bivouac and there's 25 more interviews before you can even go to bed or do a briefing with your team. So it's like and the amount of questions that come out of them are obviously they're not hoping you make a mistake, but they're interviewing you for the worst and for the best. So it's like, it just makes the pressure that much more.
Yeah. So that being said, obviously you win Dakar. I mean, obviously you won it with Ricky, who is, a good friend of yours. I mean, that's huge. I mean, how was that coming home where, two guys that are really good friends both walk away victorious on the global stage, winning the biggest off-road race of the year? I mean, that had to have been huge, man.
It really was. And dude, Ricky's a great guy. He deserves it. I mean, more than anybody. And dude, it was a phenomenal experience. Like, having the national anthem played in Saudi Arabia with a huge American flag on the podium. Obviously it's the first time in Dakar history that the national anthem has been played during the ceremonies. So, there's all kinds of complications, but there's ways to win the rally in classes, but to win a category has just never been done by an American. So there was a bunch of stuff to go behind that, and it was truly an amazing experience.
Well, and we are going to continue on this Dakar conversation when we return, but we got a short commercial break that we got to get to here in a few moments. But do want to say, obviously, if you guys haven't already, Casey, on the Polaris RZR platform, go over to Polaris RZR's social media. Check out the release video. It's insane. And honestly, check out on Casey's social media, picture this new RZR that he's getting ready for King of the Hammers in. I am really excited to see what Casey's able to do at King of the Hammers. I know we got a lot more to talk about in regards to that. Trust me, this interview is deep. We've got to get to it. I do want to remind you, though, before we do, yes, we've got a lot of male listeners here. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Just use the code JimBeaver. That's going to get you 20% off plus free shipping, manscaped.com. Use the code JimBeaver. And, man, let me tell you what, Manscaped is going to take care of you below the waist. Best damn products on the market, guaranteed. All right, so we're going to take a short break. More with Casey Currie right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. We'll return after this short break. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance, responsiveness, and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Man, this is all killer, no filler, hour number 2 right here on the show. We got my good friend and all-around badass Casey Currie on the show. And Casey he's just been killing it in just about everything he does. And we are going to continue on with this interview because we got Casey Currie standing by. So that leads us into this year. Obviously, things kind of hit the fan with COVID. I know, there's a lot of reasons why you're not at Dakar now. To me, it's even weird we're doing this interview right now. But, it truly is, the timing of this thing. And a lot of people listen to this, a month or two down the road and they'll kind of what? But let's not get into the politics of it because I kind of know the politics of things and things like that. Let's be more forward-looking. Obviously, you're not done with Dakar, correct? I mean, let's say we're definitely probably going to see Casey back, right?
Oh, yeah. So the plan is to go back. There's, yes, lots of politics involved, obviously, but, there's also a pandemic in the world. And, I have 2 little boys and a wife at home. And, to me, forget all racing aside is that I look at it, I am a family man, and, I went and conquered what I set my goals out to do. And my goal was to win Dakar. It wasn't to win it over and over and over again. It was to win Dakar, and to see where the world is and to see where the politics are. I just felt best to not get myself wrapped up in something that isn't my primary focus. It really was to focus on my family and to take care of what's going on here. And, there's an election going on right now, and, I didn't want to be out of the country while that's all going on, whether it's a good move or bad move. I just felt that for me, it was best to take care of my family. And, I am, working at Currie Enterprises now, doing a lot with Currie Enterprises. And, the pandemic has made our business, we're really busy, but it's really hard to get parts. And, I want to be around to make sure that I'm focusing on, obviously, taking care of the family business and making sure that things are moving in the direction I want them to move. And, all that shuffled in, and all of a sudden the opportunity to join the Polaris RZR team and looking at new opportunities came. And I felt that, talking with them that, hey, let's do everything we can to be ready for 2022.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, obviously, that's the big news, right? You're part of Team RZR now. That opens up a lot of doors. Obviously, we know Polaris has got their hands in Dakar, but there's also they've got their hands in a lot of different things. I mean, I know you said you're going to be running King of the Hammers and a Polaris RZR. Obviously, there's opportunities in pretty much all facets of off road with the brand. I mean, kind of opens the door. Obviously, you've got your stuff in the full size vehicles. I know you want to continue to do, but what is ahead in 2021? I mean, you've conquered pretty much every major off-road race, there is here in North America, and obviously you've conquered Dakar. I mean, what's next for Casey in 2021?
So the only race in the world that I've never won, truly the only thing I've never won is King of the Hammers. I finished second and third, but I've actually never won it. So I'd like to win the King of the Hammers. But I'm going to do the Hammers. We're going to go do the Sonora Rally. We're going to, that's my January or February, March. We're going to go ahead and start testing and getting our RZR dialed in for Dakar. We already have it at the shop, and we're literally already addressing what we can do to figure out the program. And then, we're going to go out and we're going to literally just go have fun. I'm going to go out and we're going to just go drive and create content and see what kind of trouble we can put ourselves into and, what kind of trails we can conquer. I feel there's obviously the UTV market's on fire right now. And we're going to go out and we're going to explore. I'm going to go find places that no one's been. We're going to go do trails that everyone talks about, but no one's done. And, we're just going to go live and try to have an absolute blast doing it. And, like one of the cool features, with all the new RZRs and the capabilities that, the technology they put forth with the RZR is pretty unbelievable. Now with all the navigation systems incorporated into the dash and the shocks being all basically everything electronic, making it comfortable in all different scenarios, is that, yeah, you're right. I'm not racing. I'm not going to do a lot of it, but boy, I'm going to show the true capabilities of what a RZR has and all the upgraded features that, they're capable of. We're going to go take it and try to basically use them all.
Yeah. How? What time? When are you sneaking out to Johnson Valley? Obviously, I know you're going to go and put in the work out there. How early are you going out to the lake bed?
We'll be out there. I'll be there 3 days. I'll basically be there twice a week from next week all the way till the Hammer. So, I'd like to test at least 10 days or before the actual Hammers week. So try to put some miles in.
Yeah, so looking at what's going on at Dakar before we close out, man. I mean, obviously, our RZR teammate Seth Quintero, he's doing pretty damn good over there. What's your take on what's happening over there right now?
I think, I felt that I think they're doing good. I mean, it sucks to see that they've had issues to put them further back. In the overall ranking, the category has gotten very unique, and I don't really understand it. But there's that light SUV versus SSV, but yeah, I think they're doing good. He's definitely stepped up to a rookie and going out there and being able to lay it down like he has and being as consistent is phenomenal to see. And for me, I'm glad to see happening is that, Wayne and Kristen are there. They are new with new cars that were basically put together last minute as far as they literally got the cars done right before the race. And, they're going there, they're getting homework done and they're actually finishing stages. And, for me, that is what they're going to come home with and go, these are all the things we need to fix. These are things we need to address. These are things we need to do better. We have 12 months. The cars are now there. We analyze, we take all that information and we figure out how to go back and do better for 2022. So for myself, I feel, I think they're all doing a great job. They haven't been there as a team. It's a new team. Everything isn't going to happen overnight, and it's very competitive over there.
Well, Casey, man, it was it's always a pleasure. I know I'll be out at KOH a bit, not racing, but I'm sure I'll see you at a racetrack at some point this year. And
awesome, man.
Yeah, stoked to have you in the Razor family with us, man.
I appreciate it, man. I'm excited to be a part of it, and man, the journey just begun.
So, yeah, that was Casey Currie, the man that never, ever disappoints. Truthfully, apologies that it's taken so damn long to get Casey back on the show because he's a class act, and he's a guy that I absolutely, completely respect what he's done. I mean, like we said, he's gone out on limbs. He's gone and done things that many people, didn't have the balls to do and just flat-ass wouldn't. Casey really, truly is, he's a one of a kind. He's a once-in-a-generational marketing mind. I mean, I'm looking back to when he was doing short course, and he was putting on short course races with Monster Jam and things like that, like complete out-of-the-box thinking that nobody else was doing, nobody else was thinking of doing. I mean, it truly, what he's been able to do in his career, what he's been able to accomplish, it absolutely is remarkable, and always fun catching up with Casey. You never quite know where he's going to turn up. As Chris had said earlier in the show, Dakar rally going on. Like I said, it's weird that the reigning Dakar champion is not even at Dakar, but it's just facts, and there's a lot of reasons behind it. Casey being the class act he didn't dive into everything, but I know there definitely is more to the story than that. But it's always good catching up with Casey. So. What else is going on? Well, I know I've been spending a ton of time out in the desert. I got a brand new motorhome. I don't want to say brand new. It's a pre-owned motorhome. I can't afford those, those brand new baller ones. Yeah, I'm not that rich. I'm not rich at all. I got no money. I'm just an old radio host, that likes to buzz around out in the desert. But I got a new rig, and I've been doing a lot of camping out in the desert, with the Razors. And I got to tell you, man, it has made my weekends infinitely more fun. I absolutely can't wait to be doing more of it and continue on out. Continue to push boundaries. Got a big RV trip planned for later this year, up and down the West Coast. So that's another thing. This is a fan-driven show. We're going to do a tour. We want you guys to come ride Razors with me this summer. So we're going to take a tour: California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Utah. We're taking a massive RV tour, and I want you guys to be a part of it. I want you guys, if you're in the area, to come out, ride Razors with us for a day. We're going to have a film crew. We're documenting the whole thing. It's going to be one hell of a good time, and looking forward to having a lot of you fans and listeners a part of it. So if you've got any ride areas, if you're in Nevada, California, Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, if you are in this area on the West Coast, I am challenging you right now. If you got a spot you think is insane, if you think it's good, if you think, man, we need a film crew here, we need some of the best Razor drivers in North America here, I want to ride with these guys, and it's worthy of filming, hit me up, social media, at JimBeaver15. DM me, whatever you got to do, but I want to know where these spots are. We've got kind of a tentative outline and a plan where we're going to take this RV trip, but we don't have things exact. We don't have it, we don't have them exact. We don't know exactly where we're going to go or what we're going to do. We got a general idea. So it's in flux. So, a lot of you guys have said, I want to meet you. I want to ride with you. I want to do this. Right now, here's your chance. If you're on the West Coast, if you're in the Western U.S., boom, we're taking an RV trip this summer. I want you guys to be a part of it. Hit me up. Let me know where these spots are. Right now, we're talking about hitting my boy Dana Creech's Area 52 compound, Coos Bay, Oregon, dunes in Idaho. We're going to go up to Washington, possibly Dirtfish. There's got to be some better places to ride, too, in Washington. Hit me up there. Going to go to Moab, possibly Swing Arm City. Who knows? Maybe we're going to go to Sand Hollow a bit. Right now, no places pegged in Nevada. You got some good spots in Nevada? Let me know, man. I'd love to come to Nevada. I've been all over the state, racing, but I would love to come to some recreational areas in Nevada. Northern Nevada would actually be better for the way this trip is outlined. But, man, hit me up. We want to hit up some places that probably don't get a lot of love but are insane. So at Jim Beaver 15 on social media, that is where you'll get a hold of me. And if it works out, we're going to bring a film crew and we're going to come riding with me and some of the best razor drivers in the country. And we're going to have one hell of a good time. And looking forward to riding with a lot of fans of the show, a lot of friends. Instead of throwing a big party for our 10th anniversary, that's what we're doing. We're taking an RV road trip this summer, full on like old school skate video, props, road full BMX video style, where we just take RVs and razors and go out and romp by day and take the RVs to the next town and then go and romp some more. And man, it's going to be a lot of fun. This trip I wanted to do for a long time. We're finally pulling the trigger. We're going to do it, and some of my badass friends are going to be along for the ride. And it's going to be one hell of a good time later on this year. So that is happening, and I definitely want you fans and listeners to the show to be involved if and when it does. Well, it's not if, it's happening. So that's all going down very, very soon in June. So before that, though, we got a lot of racing, and I may just have a new race car sitting in the garage. I haven't told many people about, and I'm looking forward to rolling that baby out. And, having a hell of a lot of fun with it. So, that's coming up as well. But we are going to take a short commercial break here. And when we return, I think it's time to wrap things up on this 2-hour episode of the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, wrapping up another edition, our debut episode in 2021, marking 10 years on the air. I guess our formal 10-year anniversary will be later this year, but we got a lot of plans for this year to kind of celebrate. And, a decade long on the air. Many people we think we'd last more than one episode. And here we are 10 years later and almost 500 episodes in the bag. We've had a lot of good talk on the show over the course of that time, and definitely don't see that lifting any time soon. So a lot of events coming up. I will be out at the Park 425 this next week. If you're in Parker to watch the Best of the Desert race, hit me up on social media. I'd love to meet up with some of the fans. Just make sure, a lot of COVID going around right now. So if you want to come up, meet up, man, we'll do a little elbow bump and just make sure you're wearing your mask or something like that. But I would love to meet you guys, love to hang out, and would be fun to meet up with some of the listeners to the show and things like that. So hit me up here at Parker at Jim Beaver 15, and I'll let you know where I'm at. Probably hanging out with the Vision Wheel booth, or I'll be roaming around continuously. I think I'll have a Polaris RZR on display in the Vision Wheel booth as well. So lots of good stuff coming up, very, very soon. But big thanks to all our supporters of the show: General Tire, Polaris RZR, Vision Wheel, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, Optimus, GSP XTV Axles, iRacing, Fist full of bourbon. Our good friends at Manscaped. Yes, don't forget 20% off and free shipping with the code JimBeaver at manscaped.com. That's JimBeaver at manscaped.com, and that's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped using the code JimBeaver. And trust me, your balls are going to thank you. And with that, we've also got a coupon code at Dirtfish. You want to go rallying at Dirtfish? JimBeaver15 will get you 15% off at Dirtfish. And what? You need another code, right? PR-JimBeaver. Go over to iRacing. Yeah, iRacing, virtual racing, sim racing done right. Yes, our friends at iRacing, they have one too. It is PR-JimBeaver. That's going to get you 50% off at iRacing. Encourage all of you, go over to Apple Podcasts, hit the subscribe button to the show. It helps us out more than you'll ever know. Please hit the subscribe button. While you're there, please leave a rating, 1 through 5 stars. Won't tell you how to rate us, but it definitely helps us continue up the ranks, up the ratings boards of iTunes. And trust me, it's hard to get where we're at. We've been working at it for 10 damn years. But continue to throw those ratings up, and we absolutely appreciate it 100. And what else do I got? Yeah, at JimBeaver15, Spotify, Podcast One, all that stuff. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling on, right? I'm trying to fill time here. Yeah, we got a timestamp on the show, and I got to fill the gap. But yeah, we got some big news coming out on the esports front, very soon. And a whole lot more, including my new race car, a lot of stuff. So definitely follow along at JimBeaver15 for all the shenanigans. And we'll see you next time right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Be safe and have a great week.